Are you willing to get or reach a level 6 at some point in your career? Maybe even now, from the start of your training? If this is your case, then you might be interested in what does it mean to reach a level 6 and how to get there. If you don't know me, if it's the first time you watch one of my videos, my name is Aurélie and I'm an aviation English teacher, and I mainly teach to French speakers how to improve their English, maintain their English level, and be an effective and good communicator on board. First of all, it's very important to understand what is a level 6 in order to be able to reach that level. Level 6 is not perfection. That's for sure the number one thing that is important to remember. It's not because you're non-native that you will never get to a level 6. However, getting to a level 6 requires some kind of experience with English. Being a level 6 is definitely not someone who is capable of having a perfect English. Not at all. Think about your own language. If you're a non-native speaker of English, then your native language might be French, like most of my students, but it might be Spanish or any other language. And if you're not a native speaker, think about your own language. Do you have a perfect language in terms of your own native language? I don't. I make mistakes. I'm a French native speaker. I do make mistakes in my own language. Totally fine with that. I probably make more mistakes in my own language than in English, as I'm teaching English, so I'm more careful. But yeah, definitely this is not what we expect from a level 6. A level 6 should be quite close to a native sort of English. Can we actually really define what is a native speaker? What does it mean to be just like a native, except if you do the test and you're actually native? And fun fact is that it's not because you're native that you can reach a level 6 though. So still interesting to know. Level 6 is actually reaching a level where you master the language in such a level that you can manage any situation with no problems. So you understand any sorts of vocab, you understand, I didn't say all vocab, I said any sorts of vocab. So it doesn't mean you know everything. You probably don't know everything and don't know all the words in your own language. So really keep that in mind. What is extremely important is to keep in mind that a level 6 has a significant experience with the language. So it doesn't mean that you need to be a professional pilot with experience, but you need to have a certain experience with the language. This experience can be quite large. It can be work experience. I don't know. You can work in another country for many years or a few months. You can work from home, like living in France and working for many years for a company where all your colleagues speak English because they live in other countries or they come from other countries. It can be, as a professional pilot, being confronted to, I don't know, like a lot of EasyJet pilots get very quickly to a level 6 because they're so exposed to English that in just a few years they get to that level 6. What I've noticed among my students and among candidates is that it's extremely rare when the candidates reach a level 6 with work, practicing English to a certain level that they get to a 6. You have that slight difference between the 5 and the 6, which is experience. There's no other key element to get to that 6. One of the situations that I've seen several times among my students and even amongst candidates is that sometimes you can have the experience, but you don't really use that experience as, like, you don't really fit in the requirements. So sometimes you can have a very high experience, but being confronted to people who never correct you or people who actually make a lot of mistakes, and then you're just reproducing the same mistakes because you're confronted to non-natives making mistakes and you kind of push each other into a wrong English. In that case, you will probably not reach a level 6. And so you might be even stuck in a level 4. And this is very unfortunate, but it's reality. So being a 6 is having that experience in the right context, but also knowing pretty well the linguistic requirements from ICAO to help you to reach that level 6. This is something that we do a lot with my students. Sometimes I have people who contact me and they just have definitely fit in all the requirements, but they need to know exactly what sort of structure they need to use, vocabulary they need to use, they need practice. Sometimes just a little training in advance just to prepare for the exam and know exactly what you are expected can really help to reach that 6. Sometimes you can fit in what is expected and meet all the requirements, but you might just not know how to use them, how to exploit what you already have. And it might be key to get a training or get a coach or get someone who tell you, okay, this is what you need to use. I know you know how to use it. Just think about using it, or just organize yourself and kind of adjust a little bit the things that you normally use every day where you don't use complex structure because it's not necessary, and show what you know. So sometimes little things can make a difference. If you want to reach a level 6, just keep in mind, if you have zero experience with English or just by working hard, there are quite little chances that you get to the level 6, but it doesn't mean you will never get there.